I wasn't supposed to be home until 6. That's what Mark thought anyway. But the migraine that had been building all afternoon finally won, and my boss Karen, who'd always been understanding about these things, took one look at my pale face and the way I was squinting at my computer screen and told me to go home at 3. "You're no good to anyone like this, Sarah. Go. Rest. We'll handle the presentation." I didn't text Mark. Why would I? I was coming home to my own house, the house we'd bought together 5 years ago when we were still happy, when we still talked about having kids and growing old together, when I still believed in us. The drive home was a blur of suburban streets and autumn leaves. October in Virginia was always beautiful, but the pounding in my head made it hard to appreciate. I just wanted to get home, take some medication and sleep in our dark, cool bedroom. Our street was quiet when I pulled into the driveway, that perfect suburban silence that always made me feel safe. Our 2-story colonial looked peaceful, the flower beds I'd planted last spring still blooming with late roses. The lawn was freshly mowed. Everything looked normal, like a picture from a home and garden magazine. Everything was a lie. I grabbed my purse and briefcase from the passenger seat, wincing at how heavy they felt. My head was pounding worse now. I just needed to get inside, take my medication and lie down. I used my key as quietly as possible, not wanting to make any loud noises that would make my migraine worse. The living room was exactly as I'd left it that morning. Coffee table clear, throw pillows arranged just so. The morning sunlight streaming through the windows I'd spent a Saturday installing custom curtains for. But then I heard something upstairs. A thump, like furniture moving. Then a woman's laugh, high and bright and completely, utterly wrong in my house. My heart stopped, just completely stopped for what felt like an eternity. Then it started racing like it wanted to escape my chest, like it knew what my brain didn't want to accept. No, it couldn't be. Mark wouldn't. We'd been together for 10 years, married for 8. We'd weathered my father's death, his mother's cancer, job losses, miscarriages. We were solid. We were forever. But that laugh, that feminine, unfamiliar laugh was coming from my bedroom. I set my briefcase down carefully, silently on the entryway table. My hands were shaking. The migraine was forgotten, replaced by a different kind of pain, sharp and cold and spreading through my chest like ice water. I moved toward the stairs, my heels silent on the carpet I'd chosen, in the house we'd bought together, where we were supposed to build our life. Each step felt like I was moving through water, like time had slowed down and sped up simultaneously. Another sound. Mark's voice, low and intimate in a way he hadn't spoken to me in months. Maybe years. When was the last time he'd used that tone with me? When was the last time he'd laughed like that, carefree and young and happy? I couldn't remember. I climbed those stairs like I was walking to my own execution. Each step felt surreal, like I was floating outside my body, watching myself move through this nightmare. This couldn't possibly be real. We just had breakfast together that morning. He'd kissed me goodbye, told me he loved me, reminded me we needed to pick up his dry cleaning. The bedroom door was cracked open about 3 inches. That's when I saw her. She was young, maybe 25, maybe younger, with long dark hair that cascaded down her bare back in waves that looked like they belonged in a shampoo commercial. She was laughing, head thrown back, wearing Mark's shirt, my husband's shirt, the blue one I'd bought him for his last birthday, and nothing else. Her legs were long and tan and everything mine weren't anymore after years of desk work and declining gym memberships. Mark was pulling on his jeans, grinning like a teenager who'd just gotten away with something. His hair was messy, his chest still bare, and he looked happier than I'd seen him in years. "You're insatiable," she purred, running a perfectly manicured finger down his chest. Her nails were red, bright red, the color I'd always wanted to wear but Mark said looked cheap. "You bring it out in me, Jess," he replied, catching her hand and kissing it with a tenderness that made my stomach turn. Jess. Even her name sounded young and carefree, and everything I apparently wasn't anymore at 34. Boring Sarah. Reliable Sarah. Sarah who worked 50 hours a week and still came home to cook dinner and do laundry and pretend everything was fine. I should have stormed in. I should have screamed and thrown things and demanded answers. That's what they do in movies, right? The betrayed wife bursts in, there's a confrontation, people cry and yell, and someone throws a vase. But something else happened instead. Something cold and calculating settled over me like a blanket, smothering the heat of my anger. My hand moved to my purse, pulled out my phone, and before I even consciously decided to do it, I was recording. The phone was steady in my hands. Steadier than they'd been in months. I got it all. The kiss he pressed to her shoulder. Her saying, "When are you going to leave her? I'm tired of sneaking around like this." Him responding, "Soon, baby. Promise. I just need to figure out the finances. The house is in both our names and Sarah can be difficult about these things." Difficult. He thought I'd be difficult about him destroying our marriage. The house. The house I'd put the down payment on with my inheritance from my grandmother. The grandmother who'd raised me after my mother died, who'd saved every penny to leave me something, who'd made me promise I'd use it to build a good life. I'd used it to build this house, this home, and he was planning to take it from me. I recorded for 2 full minutes, maybe 3. Every word, every touch, every casual betrayal. My hands didn't shake once. Then I heard her say, "Shit, what time is it?" Mark glanced at his watch. The watch I'd given him for our 5th anniversary. Almost 3:30. "You're good. Sarah never gets home before 6. She's got that big presentation today, so she might even be later." The presentation Karen was covering for me because I had a migraine. The migraine that had saved me from walking in on this at 6 o'clock, tired and unsuspecting. "I should still go," Jess said, standing up and stretching in a way that was clearly calculated to show off her figure. "I don't want to risk it. You know I love you. But I'm not ready for the drama of a confrontation." "I know, baby. Soon we won't have to hide. Soon it'll just be us." She kissed him again, long and deep, and I watched my husband kiss her back with an enthusiasm he hadn't shown me in years. That's when I moved. Quickly, quietly I went back downstairs. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might break through my ribs, but my mind was clear. Crystal clear. Clearer than it had been in months. I went out the front door, closing it silently behind me, got in my car, drove around the block and parked where I could see our bedroom window, but where my car wasn't visible from the house. And I waited. 3 minutes later, right on schedule, I watched a woman, Jess, climb out of my bedroom window onto the porch roof. I recorded every second of it. The climb, the drop, the way she brushed leaves off her jeans and looked around nervously like a teenager sneaking out past curfew. She was 26 years old, I'd later learn. 26 and sneaking out of my 34-year-old house through a window. She practically ran to a red Honda Civic parked 2 houses down. Mike and Sandra's place. They wouldn't have thought twice about a strange car. I got the license plate on video too. I sat there for 10 more minutes, shaking my hands white-knuckled on the steering wheel. The phone felt heavy in my hand with its burden of proof, with its evidence of my marriage dying in high definition. The migraine was completely gone. Adrenaline probably. Then I drove to Starbucks, ordered an espresso I didn't drink, and started planning. I sat in that Starbucks for 2 hours. I ordered a second coffee I also didn't drink. The barista, a kid with purple hair and kind eyes, asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. I was very far from fine. I watched the videos again and again. Each time hurt a little less and made me angrier. 7 months, I'd later learn. 7 months of Wednesday afternoons and working late and business trips. 7 months of him coming home and kissing me with the same mouth he'd kissed her with. 7 months of me being a fool. But I wasn't going to be a fool anymore. I opened my laptop, thank God I brought it home, and started researching. Divorce lawyers. Virginia divorce law. Community property. Adultery clauses. I'd never thought I'd need to know any of this. We were supposed to be forever. Forever had ended at 3:30 p.m. on a Wednesday in October. I made a list. Everything we owned together. Everything in joint accounts. Everything I'd need to protect. The house, definitely the house. My grandmother's money had bought that house. That was mine. At 5:15 I drove home. Parked in the driveway like normal. Walked in at 5:30 my normal time. Mark appeared from his home office within seconds, freshly showered, wearing different clothes than he'd had on that morning. His hair was still slightly damp. "Hey babe. How was work? How'd the presentation go?" The presentation he thought I was giving. The presentation that would have kept me at work until at least 6:30. "Oh, you know. The usual." I walked over and kissed his cheek, breathing in his familiar cologne. Armani Code, the one I'd bought him for Christmas. Smelled different now. Wrong. Actually, I came home early. I had a terrible migraine, and Karen insisted I leave. I watched his face carefully. There it was, just a flicker of panic quickly masked. Oh no, are you feeling better? You should have texted me. It came on suddenly. I didn't want to bother you. How was your day? Boring. Conference calls mostly. Just been working in the office all day. He smiled at me, this man I'd loved for a decade, and lied straight to my face. What do you want for dinner? What I wanted was to scream at him. To throw that phone in his face and demand to know how long he'd been planning to leave me, to take my house, to steal the life we'd built together. Instead, I smiled back. How about pasta? I can make that carbonara you love. Perfect. We ate pasta. He told me about his day, all lies I now knew. Told me about a difficult client who was probably Jess. Told me about budget meetings that were probably rendezvous at the Marriott. I smiled and nodded and asked follow-up questions. Played the role of the good wife one more time. We watched TV. Some cop drama he liked. I sat next to him on the couch. The couch we'd picked out together at that furniture store in Richmond, the one where we'd laughed about having kids someday who would destroy it with juice stains and crayon marks. There would be no kids. There would be no someday. He fell asleep halfway through, his head tilted back, snoring softly. I wanted to hate him. I did hate him. But underneath that was something worse. A deep aching sadness for what we'd been, for what I'd thought we were, for the future I'd planned that would never happen now. I waited until I was sure he was deeply asleep before I went upstairs to really look at our bedroom. The bed was made sloppily, not the way I made it with hospital corners and carefully arranged pillows. The comforter was crooked. One of the decorative pillows was on the floor. I pulled back the comforter. The sheets underneath were fresh. He'd changed them. Tried to hide the evidence. But there was a smell in the air. Something sweet and unfamiliar lingering beneath the scent of our laundry detergent. Perfume. Her perfume. Something floral and young and not mine. I opened the window she'd climbed out of, and let in the cool October air, trying to clear out the smell of betrayal. In the bathroom I found more evidence. The trash can had been recently emptied, but he'd missed things. Way down at the bottom, under carefully placed tissues, 2 wine glasses still slightly damp. We had those wine glasses, Waterford crystal, a wedding gift from my aunt. We saved them for special occasions. Apparently, Wednesday afternoon adultery qualified. There was a strand of long dark hair on Mark's pillowcase. I photographed it. Photographed everything. The crooked bed. The glasses. The open window. I documented it all like a crime scene because that's what it was. The murder of my marriage. I didn't sleep that night. I lay next to Mark in our bed, the bed where he'd betrayed me, and stared at the ceiling and planned. The next morning I called in sick to work. As soon as Mark left, kissing me goodbye, telling me to feel better, playing the role of concerned husband, I got to work. First I called my friend Rebecca. We'd gone to law school together before I'd switched to marketing, and she'd continued on to become one of the best divorce attorneys in Richmond. We'd stayed close over the years, had lunch once a month, complained about our jobs and our lives over wine. I'd never complained about Mark. Mark had been the one good thing I'd thought. Becca, I need your help. And I need you to not ask questions yet. There was a pause on the other end. Rebecca was smart. She could hear the tension in my voice. Sarah? What's wrong? Mark's cheating. I have video proof. I need to know my options, and I need to protect myself financially. Another pause, longer this time. Then in her lawyer voice, calm, professional, deadly. Come to my office. Now. Don't sign anything, don't move any money, don't tell him you know, don't do anything until we talk. Can you be here in an hour? Yes. Good. Sarah. We're going to fix this. I promise. 2 hours later, I sat in Rebecca's glass-walled office in downtown Richmond, while she watched the videos on my phone. Her expression shifted from sympathetic to shocked to grimly satisfied. Holy shit, she said when the video of Jess climbing out the window finished. She actually climbed out the window, like a guilty teenager. Sarah, this is incredible evidence. Is it enough? Enough? The video of her climbing out the window alone would be damaging, but you've got audio of him discussing leaving you and specifically mentioning needing to figure out the finances of the house. You've got proof he's been lying about his whereabouts. Virginia still considers adultery in divorce proceedings. This isn't just enough. This is gold. I felt something inside me unclench slightly. What do? First, we document everything. I need you to pull all your financial records, bank statements, credit cards, investment accounts, retirement funds, everything. Can you do that without tipping him off? We have separate logins for most things but shared accounts. I can access everything. Good. Do that today. I also want you to start keeping a detailed record of his movements, when he leaves, when he comes home, any suspicious behavior. Don't confront him. Don't let him know you know. Can you do that? Could I? Could I go home and smile at him and pretend everything was fine while I built a case against him? I thought about that video. Him saying I'd be difficult. Planning to take my house. The house my grandmother's money had bought. Yes, I said. I can do that. Good. Because we're going to get you everything you deserve, Sarah. Everything. That afternoon I pulled up all our financial records. What I found made me physically ill. Mark had been siphoning money from our joint savings account for months. Small amounts I'd never noticed, 500 here, 300 there, sometimes just 200. Amounts small enough to escape notice in our busy lives. But they added up. Almost $15,000 over the past 7 months. 7 months. The same timeline as the affair. He'd been planning this. Building a nest egg to leave me. I screenshotted everything. Printed everything. Made 3 copies and stored them in different locations. Then I kept digging. Credit card statements showed charges I didn't recognize. Hotels. Restaurants. Jewelry stores. I cross-referenced the dates with his calendar. The one he shared with me, the one that said late meeting or client dinner. Every late meeting was a hotel charge. Every client dinner was a romantic restaurant I'd been asking him to take me to for years. He'd bought her jewelry. Expensive jewelry. From the same store where he'd bought my engagement ring 7 years ago. I documented all of it. That evening I made his favorite meal. Pot roast with roasted vegetables, the recipe I'd learned from his mother. I set the table with our good dishes. I even lit candles. Mark came home at 6, surprised. Wow, what's all this? I'm feeling better. And I wanted to do something nice for you. You've been working so hard lately. The lies came easier now. Maybe that's what living with a liar taught you. We ate. We talked. I asked about his day and he told me more lies. I smiled and nodded and played my part. After dinner I suggested we watch a movie. We curled up on the couch like we used to, and I let him put his arm around me. Let him hold me like he used to when things were good between us. I love you, he said during a commercial. I love you too, I replied. Both of us lying. Both of us playing roles. But only one of us knew it was a performance. The next day Rebecca called. I've got a recommendation for a private investigator. One of the best in the state. He's expensive but worth it. How expensive? She named a figure that made me wince. But then I thought about that $15,000 Mark had stolen. Do it. The PI's name was David Chun and he was very, very good at his job. Within 3 days he confirmed what I already knew. Mark and Jess had been seeing each other for 7 months. She worked at his company in marketing, the department right next to his. They'd met at a company retreat in March. But David found more. Mrs. Patterson, I'm going to be straight with you. Your husband has a pattern. Jess isn't his first affair. My stomach dropped. What? Based on his credit card records and some, let's call them inconsistencies in his schedule, there were at least 2 other women over the past 3 years. Both relationships lasted 3 to 4 months before ending. I sat down heavily. 2 other women. 3 years of infidelity. How had I not known? Can you prove it? I can prove the pattern of behavior. I have receipts, hotel records, some phone records. With your permission, I can dig deeper. Do it. I want everything. David delivered. Over the next week, he provided me with a file 3 inches thick. Photos of Mark and Jess at restaurants, at hotels, walking hand in hand through parks. Photos of Mark with another woman from 2 years ago. Photos from 3 years ago with yet another woman. My husband was a serial cheater, and I'd been completely, utterly blind. I sat in Rebecca's office again, the file spread out between us like evidence at a crime scene. This is more than enough, Rebecca said quietly. Sarah, with this evidence we can get you everything. The house definitely. Probably a significant portion of other assets. He stole marital funds, he committed adultery multiple times, he's been lying for years. I want the house, I said. That's what matters most. My grandmother's money bought that house. You'll get it. I promise. But I wasn't ready yet. I needed more time to prepare, to make sure everything was protected, to make sure he couldn't blindside me. So I kept playing my part. The good wife. The unsuspecting spouse. I initiated sex twice that week. It made my skin crawl, but I needed him to think everything was normal. Both times he seemed surprised but pleased. Both times I watched him and wondered if he was thinking about her. I cooked his favorite meals. I asked about his day. I laughed at his jokes. And every night while he slept, I gathered more evidence. I copied files. I documented expenses. I built an ironclad case. Rebecca had advised me to wait 2 weeks before filing. We need to make sure everything is documented, all accounts are tracked, all evidence is organized. We're going to hit him so hard he won't know what happened. Those were the longest 2 weeks of my life. I went to work and pretended to be normal. My coworkers noticed I seemed tired. Are you okay? Karen asked. You seem distracted. Just not sleeping well, I said. It wasn't a lie. Mark continued his routine. Wednesday afternoons I now knew were his standing date with Jess. He'd come home at 7 freshly showered, and tell me about his late meeting. I'd smile and ask how it went. The third Wednesday of my double life I followed him. Not myself, David did, with his camera and his professional discretion. He got photos of Mark and Jess entering the Marriott at 2 p.m. Photos of them in the bar kissing. Photos of them heading upstairs. He stayed until Mark left at 6:30, then followed him home. He stopped at a CVS on the way, David told me. Bought breath mints and cologne. Trying to cover his tracks. I added the photos to my file. Finally, after 2 weeks that felt like 2 years, Rebecca called. It's time. Are you ready? Was I ready? Ready to blow up my life, my marriage, everything I'd built? I thought about Mark lying to me. About Jess climbing out my window. About 3 years of betrayal. About my grandmother's money and my house and my future. Yes, I said. I'm ready. Good. I'm filing the papers today. The process server will deliver them tomorrow at his office. Wednesday around 11:45 a.m., right before lunch. Why then? Maximum visibility. Everyone in the office will see. Including Jess. I smiled for the first time in 2 weeks. Perfect. Wednesday morning I woke up and made Mark breakfast like always. Pancakes, his favorite. He kissed me goodbye, told me he loved me. Reminded me he had a late meeting that afternoon. Have a good day, I said. You too, babe. The moment his car pulled out of the driveway, I called in sick to work. Then I called Rebecca. It's happening, she said. The process server is on his way. Are you sure you want to be alone? I'll be fine. I wasn't fine. I paced my house for 2 hours, my phone in my hand waiting. At 12:15 it buzzed. A text from Rebecca. Done. He's been served. I sat down on my couch and waited. 5 minutes later my phone started ringing. Mark. I let it go to voicemail. He called again. Again. 12 times in 20 minutes. Finally a text. Sarah, what the hell? We need to talk right now. I replied. Talk to my lawyer. Her number is on the papers. My phone rang immediately. I answered this time. This is insane. His voice was shaking. Anger, fear, disbelief all mixed together. You didn't even talk to me. We need to discuss this. Discuss what, Mark? Your affair with Jess? Or should we discuss the affairs before her? Or maybe we should discuss the $15,000 you stole from our joint account. Silence. Long, heavy silence. How did I find out? I came home early 2 weeks ago. Caught your girlfriend climbing out our bedroom window. More silence. I have it on video, Mark. All of it. Her climbing out the window. You two in our bed. You discussing how you were going to leave me and take the house. I have everything. Sarah, please just listen. No. I'm done listening to your lies. I'm done being the supportive wife while you fuck other women in our bed. I'm done. It was a mistake. We can fix this. Please, Sarah, don't do this. 7 months is a mistake? 3 years of affairs are mistakes? You planning to steal my house, the house my grandmother's money paid for, is a mistake. I wasn't going to. I never wanted to hurt you. I laughed. Actually laughed. Felt good. You didn't want to hurt me? You've been cheating on me for 3 years, Mark. You brought women into our bed. You stole our money. You planned to leave me and take everything I worked for. But you didn't want to hurt me. Jess means nothing. It's you I love. It's always been you. Then why is she there right now? Is she listening to this? Is she standing next to you while you beg your wife to take you back? Silence again. That told me everything. Goodbye, Mark. My lawyer will be in touch. I hung up, blocked his number. Then I poured myself a glass of wine, at 1 in the afternoon, but I'd earned it, and sat in my living room and cried. Not for him. For me. For the version of my life I'd believed in. For the time I'd wasted. For the fool I'd been. But only for an hour. Then I got up, washed my face, and called my sister. Emily, can you come over? And bring ice cream? The good kind. And maybe some vodka. Oh my God, what happened? I'll tell you when you get here. If you enjoyed this story of betrayal, revenge, and ultimate triumph, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Your support means everything and helps me share more stories of survival and strength. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever caught someone cheating? What would you have done in my situation? Share your stories. This is a safe space for all of us. And remember, the best revenge isn't destroying them. It's building a life so beautiful, so authentic, so completely yours that they become irrelevant. Stay strong, stay true, and never settle for less than you deserve. Flex biceps sparkles. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.